There's a new report circling around about the future of the Avengers franchise, Marvel's plans for that franchise after Avengers Endgame. We got to break down what this rumor and report is and talk about what it might mean for our favorite heroes in the next Avengers movie. Stay up to date about the nerdy things that you care about. Subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the next episode. What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a happy Wednesday. Now, before we get into this craziness when it comes to the future of the Avengers franchise, I need to shout out Jeremy Sewers. We got the nerd card question correct in the Spider-Man trailer breakdown from yesterday. You definitely know your stuff when it comes to Marvel, so shout out to you, Jeremy. We'll do another nerd card question at the end of this here video. Oh, and just to touch base on a couple of things from that video from yesterday, a lot of people in the comments talking about how this could be a parallel universe. That's a very cool theory that's been out there, something that Al Schuler and I have been talking about, working into our crazy theory videos. All right, so let's get into this crazy news, guys, there about the new Avengers and Young Avengers possibly being the future of the Avengers franchise. This is all coming from a report from We've Got This Covered, in which they talk about how there's new rumors and whisperings in Hollywood that Marvel is developing a Young Avengers movie. The report suggests that it would be a very classic lineup that comic book fans would be familiar with. This would include characters like Patriot, Iron Lad, Wiccan, Stature, Hulkling, and Hawkeye. So this is a new report out there. People are talking about it, but as Jeremy Conrad from MCU Cosmic explains, there's also been a lot of talks about the new Avengers when it comes to the future of the Avengers franchise. Jeremy believes that the talks about the Young Avengers film and the talks about the new Avengers film are sort of the same thing, that this is the same idea that's being talked about over at Marvel Studios and that it's a couple years away. Either way, the bottom line is Marvel is planning the next Avengers movie and the future of the Avengers franchise, and it's going to focus around the either new Avengers, Young Avengers, or a mixed cast where you'll have younger characters like Peter Parker Spider-Man conversing with even younger characters, which could be like the Cassie Lang Stature, perhaps a Kate Bishop Hawkeye, something like that. So even though this is a long ways away, this seems to be the future of the Avengers franchise and what we will get next out of Avengers. I also want to note that there are a lot of rumors about the Dark Avengers being the next movie as well, but apparently, according to Jeremy Conrad over at MCU Cosmic, there's way more smoke for the Young Avengers and New Avengers than there is for the Dark Avengers. So it's way more likely that that's where Marvel's going to focus their energy on, the next Avengers being new and young. So let's go to Speculation Town and talk about what this means for the current Avengers and what might happen in Avengers Endgame. This clearly means that after Avengers Endgame, there's going to be a long period where there's no Avengers movie. It also suggests that we're not just going to go into another Avengers movie versus Kang or, versus Annihilus or perhaps Secret Invasion. No, all of those things are sort of off the table. There's nothing major like that planned for the Avengers franchise after Endgame. What this really suggests is that the Avengers themselves in the world of the MCU are likely to not be around, to maybe be retired or on some kind of a break. Maybe they're completely disbanded because so many of them die. I mean, we have heard Evangeline Lilly say that Avengers Endgame is actually going to be even more tragic than Infinity War, and fans will be even more upset with what actually ends up happening to these characters. Also, this kind of falls in a line with my belief that S.H.I.E.L.D. and Nick Fury are going to be very, very important in Phase 4. Maybe this is because of the power vacuum that is created by the Avengers disbanding. And Nick Fury and S.H.I.E.L.D., who we know are recruiting both Spider-Man and Mysterio in Spider-Man Far From Home, maybe they are going to be the primary force of collecting heroes for defense on the planet. This, of course, again hints at a lot of Avengers dying, likely Tony Stark, likely Captain America, and maybe everybody just goes their separate ways and wants to retire the team because the big players are done. And so what we'll probably see in Phase 4 is a bunch of new characters being introduced. I do believe we're going to get Cassie Lang as an older person and perhaps even as Stature introduced in Infinity War. Maybe if we get a little taste of Elseworldy multiverse timelines, we might see other versions of younger Avengers. Kate Bishop is likely to be introduced on a Disney Plus streaming show, and maybe they'll do that for other characters such as Hulkling or Wiccan. And you'll start to see these new characters introduced in other Marvel properties before some kind of an inciting incident causes the Avengers to be reformed again. This will be the new Avengers or the Young Avengers or both. And this is a great move for Marvel. I mean, you need to introduce younger characters, not only to bring in younger audiences, but I mean, these characters eventually age, and if the MCU just persists for a long time, you can definitely see Tom Holland being sort of the old guard, maybe even an old man in these movies, and then having younger characters like a Miles Morales sort of being in there as well. And important to remember, all of this is going to be taking place as we build out other teams in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, like the Fantastic Four, the X-Men, maybe the Hellfire Club, maybe the Illuminati. All sorts of other things I think will be started in the MCU, but then the Avengers will be reformed for some kind of a big threat in the future. And the news is that that's the next movie in the Avengers franchise. And that's gonna do it for this one, but let's check the nerd card before we get out of here. I want to know, what species or race is Hulkling in the comic books? Answer that question in the comments section below. By the way, totally a possibility now after what is being introduced in Captain Marvel. Guys, I'm going out of town. There will be no Nerdy News Rundown tomorrow, but I will do an episode on Friday when I get like my green screen and stuff set up where I'm going. I got a bunch of cool videos in the tank for you guys though, including more Game of Thrones and some sweet Marvel theories coming at you as well. So stay tuned to the channel for all of that. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.